Film is used to tell stories about great battles, of love and lust, kings and queens, of people in faraway lands and kingdoms with their heroes and the struggles they must overcome. Movies like the 1999 film Esther, the 1984 portrayal of Samson and Delilah, and the newly adapted 2016 film David and Goliath. Surprisingly, all these films are connected in some way, but to find a connection, we have to stop and go all the way back to the beginning.
"1,000 years before the time of Christ.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
I, Esther, Queen of Persia, decree.
Esther, one of the many characters and stories taken from the Hebrew Bible, tells the tale of a young Jewish girl named Esther, who finds herself in the position of a queen after being chosen by the Persian king. The story begins with Queen Vashti of Persia, refusing to obey an order given by the king.
The king requires my lady's presence.
Say to the king that I refuse.
This betrayal led to the king's decision to issue a royal decree to create a law banishing Vashti from the royal life.
Let it be sent by swift couriers.
The king then began to look for another queen, ultimately choosing Esther out of the many virgin suitors he was presented with.
Rise, Esther, Queen of Persia and Media.
As the story progresses, one of the nobles by the name of Haman influences the king into writing a decree that would demand the execution of all Jewish people.
By a royal decree of Ahasuerus, let them destroy, kill, and annihilate all the Jews, young and old, women and children.
Esther decides to speak to the king and ultimately influences him to retract his law, saving all the Jewish people in the process.
If I have won your favor, and if it pleases the king, let my life be given me. That is my petition.
The story of Esther is one of the many biblical stories adapted into film, but how accurately to the Hebrew Bible are the characters and storylines portrayed in these movies? The 1999 film Esther is a movie based on the biblical story of the Book of Esther. The film has many similarities and differences to the original Book of Esther in terms of storyline and character development. This movie takes inspiration from the Bible and often quotes iconic lines throughout its duration. One quote found many times in both the movie and the Bible is,
If it please the king. If it pleases the king.
If it pleases the king.
This isn't the only quote taken directly from the Bible, but one of the many lines incorporated into the film. The storyline of the movie is also very similar to that of the Bible. The general plot told in the movie is the same as in the Bible. However, the movie tells a much more complex story by taking longer to not only describe, but show the personality of the characters as background information.
You are different. You're courageous.
This allows the directors to take a longer, more descriptive time than in the Bible to develop the plot and characters in the movie.
Forget your name, but never forget you're a Jew.
According to the book The Bible in Motion, a collection of movie reviews focused on the Bible's perception in film, who says that the 1999 Esther aims for historical realism in spite of its combining of various other biblical and non-biblical, even contemporary traditions. Among the Esther movies, it has the most realistic aura, if that is what one is looking for, in spite of a heroine chosen to depict Esther as older than the interpretive tradition usually images of her. The film is a general representation of the Bible story, not delving into minor details that differentiate the movie and the original scripture. In opposition to this, the Christian Spotlight on Entertainment blog claims that the film sticks very closely to the original Bible story with a beautiful background, breathing life into the story that has long lingered to be told on screen. With lovely scenery, excellent costumes, and terrific acting upon the parts of the players, Esther will please anyone looking for a true adaptation of the tale of beauty, deceit, greed, and triumph that will inspire every other like story in our history. In conclusion, the characters are not perfectly portrayed, and the plot is not accurately told in movies as in the Bible, but adapted and interpreted to tell the general story initially written in the scriptures, but changed in such a way to build underlying storylines within it to invoke a stronger sense of entertainment.
The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light.